What if spiritual awakening isn't about love and light, but about unlearning the lies that you have been sold? Today's guest doesn't believe in rainbows, unicorns, or spiritual coddling, and he's not here to make you feel comfortable. Daniel Jackson says the spiritual world has a problem. Too many gurus, too many programs, and not enough truth. We talk about fake practitioners, personal responsibility, why pain isn't a mistake, and why your purpose might be far simpler and far harder than you think. If you're ready for spirituality without the fluff, this conversation might just light a fire under you. This is New Reality Awakening. Welcome to New Reality Awakening, where each episode we sit down with one of the creators behind New Reality TV to cut through the noise and get clear on three things: what they're putting out to the world, why it actually matters right now, and how it connects to the bigger shifts happening in human consciousness. These are focused, no-fluff conversations, not origin myths, not guru speak, just real people doing real meaningful work and the ideas behind it. If you are curious about where consciousness, culture, and personality responsibility If you are curious about where consciousness, culture, and personal responsibility intersect, you are in the right place. Today, we are super excited to have with us the creator of Beyond the Veil with Daniel Jackson, Mr. Jackson himself. Daniel Jackson, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Will. How about yourself?
I am doing better and better now that we're able to have this conversation together. I appreciate you coming on and being the guinea pig for this new format for the show.
Seems like I'm that late in a lot of ways for this network, but that's okay.
Yeah, we'll talk about that as we get through the conversation. But I guess the biggest question that I have right now is why does this show, your show, Beyond the Veil with Daniel Jackson, why does this show need to exist now?
Because more people are waking up in this world right now. But for the bigger picture of that, unfortunately, they are being preyed upon at the same time by a lot of people who say they do something, but they don't really do that. And I'm here to clear the air for them, to give that in more plain and simple terms so they don't have to be have their mind washed too much over these big words that a lot of these practitioners and a lot of these other people who put out there to make sense of it.
Yeah, no, that makes great sense. And it's an incredible service you're providing. There are, unfortunately, as in every industry, right, there's always a lot of people who are out for a buck. Unfortunately.
Snake oil salesman.
Yeah. Unfortunately, in this space, a lot of people are, there's a lot of emotions behind them. They're hurting. So it's easier and it's more tragic when someone does get taken advantage of. So, all right. Well, is your show, is there someone that this show is not for?
No, I don't think so. I think my show brings about a lot of different aspects for a lot of different people. We don't just focus on one type of audience per se. Anyone who wants to learn can get something out of my show, whether it be someone who is just in it for the visual aspects of it, or something that's going to ease their mind at the same time by the answers that we provide.
All right. Well, we've been tiptoeing a little bit about it, but tell us in a nutshell, give us the format of your show. How does it work?
My show is everything metaphysical and supernatural. What my show is not is rainbows and unicorns, and everything is love and light. As I'm described by some people, I have a no BS delivery. I tell it like it is. I tell the truth and not just the pretty kind. And a lot of the shows out there that I see are all about the pretty kind. This world has been had their hands held for too long and coddled for too long. And it needs to be given to them straight, and that's what I do.
It sounds like the Year of the Fire Horse is perfectly in line with your show.
Is that what it is? Okay, yeah. Well, yeah. If they need their butt lit on fire, I'm going to do it.
Nice way to put it, rather than the way you could have said it. But
you're welcome.
Thank you. So Daniel, I want to get into you a little bit before we go back into the show, because I think that knowing you is going to give people a lot better idea of what the show, what they're in for during the show. So,
Sure.
you're not just a pretty face, right? You have
I'm handsome all over, but Will, I don't
right,
know what you're talking about,
right.
but
You
okay.
you may be, and I don't really need to know that. Probably not to do
No
any,
one does.
but
My wife doesn't want to know.
well, that thanks for being honest and
You're welcome.
forthcoming. No, but what is it that makes you uniquely qualified to run this show?
I'm in the space that with the type of guest that I bring on. I'm not just a regular interviewer. I'm also a medium at the same time. So even when I do my show, I will read over their qualifications somewhat and take a look at it. But it's a free flowing conversation because I know everything about the spirituality. I see, hear, feel, smell, sometimes taste, and communicate with spirit all day long. So I have plenty of experience to ask the right questions. They tell me something and they talk about it, and things come to me, and
Mm.
boom, I got a question
And
for them right off the bat.
and I probably should have clarified in when I'm talking about the name of your show is actually Beyond the Veil with spirit medium Daniel Jackson, right? So that kind of tells it all. I mean, in a
Yeah,
nutshell, right?
well, the show is actually Beyond the Veil with Daniel Jackson, so I don't really say spirit medium Daniel throughout it, but I do talk about me being a medium throughout the show, and usually the people who are doing the show with me look me up a little bit,
Mm.
and then they see that I'm a medium, so they know that they know I'm within the same space. It's like talking shop with them at the same time, you know. So the answers that come out from them or sometimes or say, "Well, you know what I'm talking about, Daniel." I said, "I do know what you're talking about." So, yeah, so it's very easy going.
Right. But the audience may not know. So it's nice to have the dual viewpoints on that, on any particular
Yeah,
topic. Yeah.
yeah.
So do you interview just spirit mediums or I mean I've seen your shows
No.
talk about all kinds of things and UFOs and Brazilian Templars and all kinds of things, right?
Oh, yeah, you watch that one, huh?
Of
Yeah,
course, yeah.
yeah, I try to bring on every aspect of, metaphysical and supernatural. But again, even when I'm getting people on my show, I don't just pick a show. I don't just pick a person to come on my show. I allow my guides, archangels who actually touch me on my face for yes and no answers. This is yes and that's no. It feels like a tear running down my face for no.
Mm.
So when I see someone who I'm going to get on my show, I just look at their name. And as soon as I look at their name, I say yes or no. If they touch me yes, I have them on my show. If they touch me no, I scroll.
Mm. Have you ever
Pretty simple.
have you ever had a guest that has surprised you, even you?
Um, no, not really. I mean, again, it's a simple conversation between the two of us, of them telling me what's going on and me just coming up with answers, but nothing is really surprising. Again, my guides know who to bring to me and who not to bring to me, so nothing is going to be a big surprise.
Okay, so I'm glad your guide said that doing this was okay because I'm a little sketchy. You never know, but
Yeah, well, you're handsome. That's okay.
oh well, thank you again. So is there? Here's a question I'm fascinated every time I talk to somebody in this space. Is there a particular belief system that over the course of the length of time that you've been doing the show that you find yourself having outgrown?
Um, from my belief system, no. My belief system is the one is all and all is one. So it's not about going towards just the one. It's going towards the many that you can get answers from. So I've always been at the same belief system throughout this. Even when I was younger and I wasn't such a spiritual person, I just knew that I was being drawn away from the idea is that it has to be one type of answer, one type of place to, who are going to help you. I believe there's more help out there than just one idea of it,
Mm.
and that has always, been my entire life, so I've never felt like I belong to just a certain group or particular group, in any type of way.
Oh, awesome. Is there anything that you, as a spirit medium, would like to clarify here? Anything that's been misunderstood about your work that people who tune in will learn about?
Um Yeah, well, even, when I tell people that I communicate with archangels, I have to tell them this way. I say, "I communicate with archangels, not men with wings and shields and swords or magical beings that are going to fix your life." I mean, if you had a guardian angel following you around, guarding you from everything, what would you learn?
Mm,
I mean, people just don't. I have to bring these types of things to them, in the same way, I'll say, "Why would a guardian angel keep you from getting cancer, but not keep your dog from getting hit by a car?" Because they don't do either. Because there's no such thing. We have spirit guides, and we have our own intuition is what is actually your soul guiding us, an internal compass following us around all the time and trying to help us, but it's not but you're it's not it's still gonna be, an issue because we have free will, and that free will can sometimes, use selfishness and ego instead of using what's, truly inside of you, and people have a hard time with that, so I try to make light of that so they can understand it better.
mm. Well, let's dive into that a little bit. So,
Sure.
I'm always fascinated when people talk about things happen to good people, right? And doesn't matter whether you feel you're protected by angels or God or whoever it is. To your point, we're here to learn certain things, to experience everything in little bits of ourselves, right? We could be seen as little bits of the one being brought into this world to experience different things. So when we go back to the one, we bring all of that experience together with us.
Yeah.
W- do you think wouldn't you think there'd be a better way of learning all this stuff than having to go through the pain of making learning those lessons?
Without pain, without sorrow, grief, guilt, anguish, any of that, how would we learn from it if we didn't have these experiences? And even as you just said, things happen to good people. Well, things happen to all people.
For sure.
It doesn't make a difference who you are in this world. I don't care what your job is or what your social status is or how much money you have in your bank account. Everyone is going through something in this world. We're all going through something, and some of us are just good actors, and some of us are just not. But we're all going to go through something in this world because we have to learn from it. Because the life is not meant to be easy. If it was meant to be easy, what would be the point of living? If you were given everything in your lifetime, you wouldn't appreciate the things you do have in this world. So you have to go through a learning process to figure out what you're meant to be doing here. And as I always explain to everybody, we're here to learn lessons, but that's not the main reason of being here. I mean, everything you do in your life is a lesson. We're here to fulfill a purpose. Lessons are something that are just going to happen throughout your life. Purpose is choice.
Mm.
It's a choice to fulfill your purpose or not. Not everyone does.
Okay, so but you're saying that everyone has a purpose. It's just a matter of whether you
Well,
choose to do it or
everyone
not.
has a purpose. Yes, but everyone has the same purpose. People just can't figure that out. They think purpose is going to be some big grandiose story for them, so they can stand in front of a camera and say, "Look how wonderful I am." That's not what your purpose is.
It's not?
Your purpose is not becoming a doctor or a lawyer or a teacher. Your purpose is not an occupation because not everyone has an occupation.
Oh.
Our purpose is we're here to help each other just for the sake of helping, and
S-
not everyone can figure that out.
So of being in service is our purpose, is to serve each
Doing
other.
doing acts of kindness, doing it for the reason of just because.
Oh, Daniel, I never knew that about you. That's so beautiful.
I didn't come up with it. Well,
I'm
they
not
did.
saying you came up with it, but I'm really
They
glad.
tell me everything.
I'm really glad that is our purpose. It's something that I
Yeah.
strongly believe in, and I'm glad to hear that your guys are saying the same thing. So what about the people that are really trying to live their purpose, and yet bad stuff still happens to them? What kind of solace can they take in what's happening to them?
Well, God doesn't punish us. We punish ourselves by the choices that we make. So, we have to make better choices in this world, and we just don't always do that because we tend to follow other people. We tend to follow our own ego, our own selfishness more than we tend to follow that that guidance that's provided to us all day long. But even though we get the guidance, we don't always follow it. You get choices. You get options to do things, and it's up to you to decide whether or not you're going to follow through with them or not. Not everybody follows through very well. Not all of us are good learners. Some of us just aren't. Take some time.
So it's all about learning. It's all about. So
Everything's about learning. Yeah.
you believe this is a school that we're in then?
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, we're just not good students, that's all. I mean, we are all representations of God, but we're not just very good representations. We're not getting it right. But eventually we will, but it just takes time. But you have to put time and effort into it as well at the same time.
Right. Right. So for those people that are listening to all the podcasts and watching all the shows and reading all the books and doing all the practices and stuff on a part-time basis, do you feel that it takes complete and full commitment to the spiritual path, or can you do it on a part-time
Yes.
basis?
No, because you're not gonna get what you put into it is what you're gonna get out of it. So, as if you're not willing to put that much time and effort into it, you're not gonna get that much out of it.
Okay. Well, someone wants to do that, wants to follow that path, but they're stuck into 3D. What's your advice?
I tell them my big thing is learn to listen, trust, and follow through. Again, you have that internal compass that's trying to guide you throughout this world. As long as you learn to listen, trust, and follow through with what it's telling you to do, your life will be much easier.
Mm.
But you have to take the time and make the effort. There's a lot of things that have to take place to be on a spiritual path that a lot of these other practitioners and gurus will not tell you about. They give you a bunch of unlearnable things to do. They give you a bunch of goals that you'll never meet because they don't want you to become as enlightened as they are, because then there will be no more I'm better than you than this type of world.
Mm.
But there are certain things that you do have to get rid of to be actually on a spiritual path. And these are the blocks that block us from being in touch with our consciousness.
Yeah.
And those blocks are never discussed except unless you listen to me. And those blocks are, you have to get rid of your pain, anger, sorrow, grief, guilt, anguish, hate, greed, selfishness, drama, anxiety,
Daniel,
depression.
that's a lot more
all
than
this in
that's a lot more than 3 blocks.
Yeah, it's a lot more than 3 blocks, yeah, and you have to stop smoking, stop drinking, doing the recreational, pharmaceuticals, those types of things. Everything that we do there is, I don't watch, television. I mean, we watch some shows, but I don't watch the news, I don't watch the drama that's going on out in the world, you know? I've lived through so many presidents. I mean, how many of them actually saved the world? None of them. The only people who are gonna save this world are us,
Uh,
but we have to get on board with that.
Actually, there is one president that saved the world, and that was the president in the 4th of July, in Independence Day, the movie. He saved the world.
Yeah, I did like that
Yeah,
movie,
right.
yeah, but
He's the
yeah.
only one, but,
Yeah.
alright, so Daniel, you're challenging a lot of what a lot of people are saying, and I applaud that, but, there's no easy way to get rid of all that
No,
stuff.
there's never been an easy way. Life's not meant to be easy, so, you gotta it's gonna take time, it's gonna take effort, and as long as again, what you put into it, that's what you'll get out of it. So, if you're willing to work hard at it, it will happen. I mean, there are some people who have woken up and who see this and understand it, but there's just a lot of people who don't, because we are taught that you have to have 6 cars and 7 houses and 10 boats, and you have to be this big around, you can't be this big around, and, you know, they tell you one day you can eat bacon, and they tell you the next day you can't eat bacon. Well, the problem is with they need to shut the heck up, but the bigger problem is we need to stop listening.
Right, and to your point,
Yeah.
you need to make better choices as to what you're consuming. When you consume
Absolutely.
the media, the social media,
Right.
there is a lot of really good things happening in this world, but the only thing that's
Yeah.
being perpetuated or spotlighted is the stuff that makes you go, "Ugh," right? Because that sells.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so when you know that, then you can make the decision knowing that all that they're doing is giving you something that they know is going to sell. So if you don't want to buy it, just don't buy it, and look at and focus on the
Right.
things that actually
Right.
make you feel, are better.
Spirituality is free will.
Free will, free me. I like that. All right.
Absolutely.
So where do you think people right now are genuinely confused about spiritual awakening or growth?
I think they're confused a lot again by television. Television and movies have brought out these misconceptions, a lot of lies, things like that, and unfortunately, people believe these types of things. Not only that, but again, I come across a lot of these fake practitioners out there who are telling people these certain things that really work for them. But you know, again. Even with intuition, you know, the first 2 letters of intuition is I-N, in, from within. So you have this
Mm.
power from within you. If you want the real answers in this world, you have to seek the real answers of where they are. They're from within you, and you just have to know that. But again, as long as we pay attention to all the garbage that's being told to us to get us away from all our true selves, then that's where we're going to have the issue. Again, you have to learn to separate, and until you learn to separate, you're going to be stuck. So, but everybody has an opportunity to do it. They just have to want to do it.
You've been talking a lot about the other gurus or the other spiritual coaches out there. They're kind of feeding lines and feeding things, but we
Yeah.
haven't gotten into depth into any of them. So I'm afraid of
Well,
this next
I'm not here.
question, but
I'm not here to point any particular one out, but I will
not
point out
not one,
the roundabout
not a person.
of who.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm not interested in calling out a person, but rather what particular um, teachings have been oversold in this space.
The gurus, the mindsets, the let me sell you every program that I can think of that's gonna to get you to your own spirituality, of which your own spirituality is your own, and you don't have to be sold on that. Um, in the same world, in the same fashion, when it comes to patents and things like that, instead of just putting it out there, people would just have to get a patent for it so they can make some type of money off of it, to get the into your pockets as much as they can. Whereas they no one really has to do that, but this is the way of the world, again, because we're taught that, unfortunately, we base our whole economy on rocks and paper. You've heard of it. It's called gold and diamonds and dollar bills, and that's what we think is more important in this world. But none of that has any actual true value in this world. The true value is us, and we have to get back to that. So unfortunately, we have a lot of people who are preying on others out there, just trying to sell them an idea that they can go out and figure out for themselves. But
Right.
everyone's got the better mousetrap, and unfortunately, those mousetraps just aren't working. I mean, if they were actually working, don't you think we'd be a little bit further on down the road by now?
Yeah. Some would say that there's a reason why we're not further down the road is because they don't want you to be, right? So,
Right. They don't want you to be.
they.
Yeah. Yeah, well, there
Yeah,
you
yeah.
go.
Yeah, and I love what you're saying. The how can I put this without um, being radicalized? The system that we are currently living in, who we've been living in for over 200
Maybe we need
years.
to be radicalized because we are the ones who are different than everyone else.
Um, it actually, when you
It's an
at the
option.
very beginning, you said more and more people are waking up. I would posit that there's more and more of us who are actually in this space, who are more
Yes.
radicalized, and so we are becoming much more the norm than
Yeah, we're no longer woo-woo or we're no longer taboo in this world anymore, and,
absolutely.
eventually, I think people are gonna stop going towards, like, religion and politics and start going towards us because we're getting them true answers.
Mm. Do you think that the world is heading towards a more community-driven space where there's different smaller communities
Yeah.
and they help each other?
Yeah, I think so because people are again, they're getting tired of being told what to do every day instead of knowing what they can do for themselves, and
Right.
that's what's more alluring to them, knowing that they can do things for themselves instead of having being to corralled
Yeah.
into one area. A long time ago, we were just told that we were the flock, and now we're being told we're the herd. So I don't think people want to take it too kindly when they're being told that they're sheep and cattle all day long.
Yeah.
I think they want something better
Especially
for
when
themselves.
especially when the cattle is actually called for food for the
Right.
ranchers. So,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Daniel, you are in very close contact with some beings who could potentially give you a lot of the answers about what indeed is coming or is not coming. Have you gotten any information from your spirit guides to say this is coming and when?
One of those that I got was, back in around 2018. My guides provided me an answer through a channeled message that a really bad virus was coming along and a stock market crash.
Hmm.
And then they actually told us how to prepare for that as well. So by the time this virus came, which was COVID, which is in 2020, my wife and I already had 3 years worth of toilet paper. So we weren't
That's
waiting
where it all
for,
went.
yeah, that's where it all went. Yeah. So we didn't have to wait in line for something to show up in a truck
Right.
that was never coming. So yeah, they do provide me these types of answers. And at that time, I did put that out there. I was doing a show back east, Illuminate Illuminate festivals, and so I was telling some people. I wasn't telling everybody,
Mm.
because not everybody can handle something like that. Some people, again, were just, about their own ego and selfishness. So I was truly helping as many people as I could at that same time, and then when it happened, I got a bunch of messages from people who said "Oh my god, everything was perfect, Daniel. We were perfectly prepared." And then I got a bunch of people who said, "I wish I would've listened to you. I thought you were crazy." I said, "I'm not crazy. You gotta listen to me now."
Well, now then tease me up to the next question. Anything coming through that we need to be aware of coming up?
Um, I'm not about making predictions.
Okay.
The reason I don't make predictions is because things can change all the time,
Sure.
especially with the use of free will amongst all of us, because we are a collective. No matter what people like to think, we're all connected to each other. But things, I get told some things that people are just not ready for.
Mm.
And there's a big one that's coming in 2047, but I'm not supposed to give that information out yet, because it's just the world just isn't ready for it yet. But when it's time, it will be out.
Wow. Wow.
I do know something spiritually that I can divulge. I'm actually going to divulge it on one of my shows coming up called "I Am the Light."
Oh.
So I don't know if I should divulge it now or maybe I should
Well,
wait till
well,
then.
I think that's a really good tease, so that if you are interested in hearing this not only about um, all the teachings that Daniel Jackson brings forward on his show, but that there's something that he's going to reveal on his show.
It's big.
And the only way that you can find that out is if you tune in to Daniel Jackson's show, Beyond Reality, on New Reality TV. How about that for a little cryptic tease?
Okay. Sounds good to me.
All
Well,
right. Well, Daniel, who is the perfect audience for your show?
anyone who wants to learn new information, anyone who wants to learn information that's past everything we've already been told for the past 40 to 50 years. Anyone who's looking for something that's going to wake them up and decide that, you know what, I can take the power back. I don't need to have someone taking my power all the time. Someone who wants to learn to listen, someone who wants to learn to trust, and someone who wants to learn to follow through.
And
Anyone out there?
and I would posit that there's also someone that wants the truth handed to them without rainbows and unicorns.
Yes, absolutely. They want the truth and not just the pretty kind.
Okay, perfect. Well, if you could leave our audience with one final grounded takeaway, not a belief, but a way of engaging with life, what would you say that would be?
I always tell people not to judge anybody. That's my big thing. You're walking through the parking lot and you see somebody coming towards you, and you look at their shoes, you look at their hair. Maybe you think they look a little disheveled, but haven't we all looked a little disheveled lately? And when you look at them, before you say anything to them, I want you to take a self-inventory of yourself and think of all the things that you've been through in your entire life. I'm sure you've been through some horrible things in your life, and then look back at them, and then you know what? Bite your tongue and walk away. Don't say anything to them because maybe they are having a bad day. Maybe you've had a bad day as well, but we could treat each other a little bit better in this world. But we just have to take time and make the effort to do that without trying to judge them for every little thing. So learn to let that go, and maybe just walk up to them and say, "Hi, how are you?" And maybe they will engage back with you as well. "I'm good. How are you?" "I'm doing great. I hope you have a blessed day." And then go on about your way. I mean, it's so simple to do. Showing just acts of kindness are much simpler to do than there are to ridicule somebody just for being who they are.
So try to release judgment, anger, fear, all the negative
Yeah.
emotions. And that way it will help you.
All the things that we have learned how to have, because you wake up in your baby body here going, "What?" Your mom and dad's going, "I'm your mom and dad." You're going, "I don't know who the heck you are, but okay." And they raise you and teach you the ways of the world, and everything they teach you is all this lies and deception. And we have to learn to get away from that lies and deception because it's not helping anybody.
Right. So
It's hurting us all.
really everything has to fall. The programming has to fall.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well,
Yes.
this is the kind of work we like to spotlight here on New Reality Awakenings, not because it has all the answers, but because it asks better questions and invites real engagement. If this conversation sparked something for you, you can explore more of Daniel's show on Beyond the Veil with Daniel Jackson on NewReality TV. Daniel, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thanks for having me, Will. I appreciate you.
And if you're someone who's curious about consciousness, growth, and where personal responsibility actually meets spiritual exploration, this is what we do here. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time on New Reality Awakenings. We are New Reality Awakening.